Now I request our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. K Sridhar Sir, Registrar, S-VYASA University, to address the gathering.
Honorable Chancellor of the S-VYASA Yoga University, as well as the Director of the Sushruta Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna, Principal, Dr. Songamitra Patnayak, then the Vice Principal, Dr. Alok Roy, Deputy Medical Superintendent, Dr. Vasudev Vaidya, and the Head of the Department of the Agata Tantra, Dr. Ravi Kiran, all the staff members of the S-VYASA, as well as that of the Sushruta Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, and all the delegates who have come from all parts of India, Ayurvedic doctors and assistant professors, associate professors and others. It gives me honor to speak a few words on this occasion when you have successfully completed the CME in Dravya Guna Vijnana. Some of you are wondering what has this registrar is going to do about the Ayurveda Vijnana when he has only a background of Sanskrit. I agree. But owing to the influence as well as hearing the wonderful lectures of stalwarts like the internationally renowned Ayurvedic physician like Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna, R.S. Singh from BHU, Warrior from Kerala, and Robert Swoboda and David Frawley from America, I have just learned and I have read something about Ayurveda, which you can call it as a primary one, like a first standard student. But however, I was very much keen to attend each of the lectures, but owing to administrative thing, I could not attend any of the lectures, but I only overheard our wonderful lecture of our Vice Chancellor, and I was highly impressed. So whenever I go with him, sometime for discussions and meeting dignitaries and others, we'll be having a lot of discussions, and I have learned many things about the extraordinary features of the Ayurveda, which is one of the oldest systems in the world. All of us know that the Ayurveda began in the Veda. Dr. Sandhya D.S. and as well as Dr. Ravi Kiran informed that I have to inform something about the roots of the Ayurveda as represented in the Vedas. So I'm going to, as owing to the paucity of time, I'm only going to speak one or two lines in the form of bullet points as embedded in the four Vedas. You know, you understand that you're being distinguished doctors in Ayurveda. We know that Ayurveda is a science of life and yoga is a science of mind. So they are interconnected like two faces of the same coin. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion and criticisms and comments whether both of them developed independently or both of them are complementary to each other. So there have been discussions that both of them are complementary, sometimes they are different disciplines. But as we read through the Rig Veda, which is the oldest recorded book in the world, and the date and the antiquity goes to 9,500 years, as documented by David Frawley, George Feurenstein, and Subhash Kak. They have given the dates based on external and internal evidences, and they place it as a, by around 2010. Through the researchers, they said the date or the antiquity of the Rig Veda goes to 9,500 BCE. You add the 2,000 years of the present CE, so it means Yoga and Ayurveda are 11,500 years old, which is one of the oldest system of medicine meant for the mind, the body, the soul, compared to the Greek medicine, which came in around 500 BCE, and the Egyptian medicine 1000 BCE, and the Chinese medicine 1000 BCE. So that way, ours is the oldest system of medicine documented in the Vedas, as informed by Pandit Ram Sharma ji from Deva Samskriti Vidyapith, who established that Ayurveda is a Vedic system of medicine. So it is recorded in the Rig Veda with reference to various dimensions of diagnosis, therapeutics, and other medicinal herbs and various types of herbs to cure a number of diseases. And then in the Samaveda, in the Yajurveda also, we find several references to the Ayurveda. I'm avoiding the entire aspect of yoga because there is no time, and it is mentioned that there in Yajurveda we find this Ayurveda is referred to as a tool for understanding the divine manifestation of one's own self called the Brahman. Whereas there we find the references to several herbs as well as the good quality of a Ayurvedic doctor. Then when we come to Samaveda, the Ayurveda is taken as a tool for the attainment of light, the divine light which is present in our hearts through various yogic sadhanas. In order to do the yogic sadhanas, the Ashtanga Yoga, Yamaniyam, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, we should have a sound body and a strong body like Vajrakaya. That is the word used in Samaveda. To have that Vajrakaya, we should have a powerful body. For that, it is supported by a lot of medicinal herbs, dhatus, and so on. So here we find the herbal medicines, therapeutic applications, the effects are explained elaborately, the plant medicines and the food grains associated with those plants, how we can strengthen our body and later strengthen our mind. Then the Atharvaveda. So Atharvaveda, or it is also pronounced as Atharvaveda, is meant for the last section, the 13th section of the Atharvaveda deals with various types of medicinal herbs, the various types of therapeutic things, diagnosis, especially for the attack or the bite of nocturnal species such as snakes, scorpions and other bites. So there we find here Atharvaveda, we find here that yoga sadhanas are also mentioned, which helps in realizing the one's own self or the Brahman. The major herbs referred to in Yajurveda, Atharvaveda are Shama, Rohini, Prashnivarni, Pippali and Apamarga. In fact, Rohini is first time referred to in the Rig Veda. Vasishtha is telling to his wife Arundhati, and the most wonderful couple, the sages, Rohayasi Rohini, Roha Edam Arundhati. O Arundhati, please grow this Rohini plant which is capable of curing many diseases, and it is capable of curing the persons who are affected with the broken limbs or the disjunction of parts or dislocation of the joints that can be united. With that, we have to apply the Rohini plant, which is mentioned there. And also there in the Atharvaveda we find several germs or the microbes are mentioned which affects air, water and the body, and the methods of the destroying them and how to cure the various diseases. Rigveda and the Vishnu Purana gives 104 types of diseases, and through mantra, mani mantra aushadha. And here we find, as I referred to just a minute ago, Atharvana sage broke his leg, and it was through the organ transplant technology, it was again repaired and corrected, for which the Rohini plant was used. Then we also find that Soma in the Atharvaveda, Soma is given the emphasis. Among the several gods present in the Rigveda, Agni, Soma, Indra are very, very important. Soma is elaborately mentioned. To quote one or two of them, because Dr. Sandhya asked, please quote one or two Rigvedic verses, sir. Rucham Agni Daivatam Prithivim Sthanam Yajusham Vayuhu Daivatam Antariksha Sthanam Samnam Aditya Daivatam Dyauhu Sthanam Atharvanaha Chandrama Daivata Rupa Sthanam. As we find in the Atharvaveda as well as the Gopata Brahmana. Soma Mayohi Ayam Vedaha. Very clearly mentioned that Atharvaveda is full of Soma, and Soma is the fluid of our body, the fluid of the nature, fluid of the cosmos, which is going to impact and influence us. So, there in that it is mentioned, the universe has 5 layers. And the Panchabhutas, Prithvi, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, they are mentioned. Among them, the 4th of which is associated with Apaha or Soma. Pancha Vargam Adhimaha is the reference we get in Atharvaveda, means why it is mentioned for the fulfillment of the desires. So there also it is mentioned elaborately, Tadapam apatvat apnoti hava sarvan kamani anyan kamayate iti. Means what? The creator desired. He desired to create the universe. So he had the desire of creating the universe. So first he had the desire and later created the whole world, beginning with Akasha or the cosmos. The same is elaborated in the Chandogya Upanishad, so kamayata, so bahu kamayata. He desired and he desired to become the many. So when he desired and then he led it, it led to all the animate and the inanimate objects of the universe as we see now. So that way, it is said in the Atharvaveda, the sweat of the Brahman, the Brahma, the creator, the sweat or the Sveda resulted in Suveda, and which resulted in finally Atharvaveda. So that is strengthened in the Taittiriya Upanishad in the second Anuvaka and the second chapter, the second Anuvaka, where clearly the origin of the cosmology is elaborated. Tasmad etasmad akasha sambhutaha akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapah adbhya prithivyi prithivyaam oshadayaha oshadibhyo annam annat purushaha raso vaisaha. So ultimately it is the rasa which is predominant, which is a combination of the Panchabhutas. Hence Charaka, I don't want to elaborate much on that. Charaka, apart from the Panchabhutas, gave emphasis on the rasa, which he mentions as the powerful Shakti with rasa, guna, virya, vipaka and Shakti. So that way, Dravya Guna Vijnana is helping us to understand ourselves, to understand the physical world, to understand the cosmos from which the entire Big Bang theory has come into existence 10 to the power of 22 billion years ago. It all started on 10 to the power of minus 41 seconds. That is what the astronomers and the theoretical physicists say. So this cosmos has got a direct link with the human beings and the body fluids. So that has to be appreciated and generated, and that is what developed, because the cosmic consciousness called Vijnana in the Rig Veda is present within us in the form of the Jiva or the Atma, and as told by the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Atmai Vedam Sarvam. Ahame Vedam Sarvam. So ultimately, by understanding our own self, we can understand the world better, we can understand the cosmos better. Hence, for that to happen, we have to strengthen our body. We should have a good knowledge of the Dravya Guna, Vijnana, and that is what elaborated by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam. Jnana there refers to the knowledge of the Brahman. Vijnana refers to the methodology, and through that method, both external and internal, we realize the Brahman. Last but not the least, now that you are all Ayurvedic doctors, very renowned with MD, MS and so on, I would like to just inform, I'll just speak for 3 minutes. Now, the International Union of the Conservationists and the Naturalists based in Paris has identified the Red Data book. In that Red Data book, which is revised year after year, and they have brought out number of fauna and the flora which have been under danger, under extinction. And among the plant species, as far as 66 plants have been enlisted, most of them are medicinal. Among the 66, 36 are in Karnataka in our Western Ghats, which is the oldest among the mountains in the world belonging to Pliocene period. 14 of them, I will just quickly read out. Aristolica, Taggala, that is Ishwari, Campifora, Whitey, Guggalu, Cosinium, Feristratum, Daru Haridra, Sycaris, Circinalis, Varaguna, Holy Stemma, Audo Sodolin, Jivanti, Comphira, Galanger, Sati or Kachura, Kingiodendron, Pinnatum, Maristaica, Malbarica, grown only in Kerala, that is Ramapatra, Ocrinacrilia, Missionis, Raktachan, that is Jaladamsha, then Tyrocarpus, Santalinus, Raktachandana, Rulfia, Serpentina, Sarpagandhi, Sarika, Ashoka tree, Syzygium, Travancordium, Vatam Kulimaram, according to Malayalam, I don't know in other languages, Trichopus, Zilanicus, Varahi. These 14 are in the verge of extinction, which are used by, doctors in Dravyaguna most of the time, and it is our bounden duty to protect them, because these plants and animals and the birds have existed even before the human being came into existence to this world 2 lakh years ago. According to the latest archaeological survey done in Turkey, 3 lakh years ago, let it be, but the fauna and the flora have lived since 275 million years. We have no right and we have no business to disturb the biodiversity of these fauna and flora. They have lived with us with eco-friendly coexistence. As human beings, we have to live with eco-friendly coexistence, and I am one of the persons who advocated at the national, international levels about these things. And finally, because you have completed all stalwarts like Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna, and they have given you enlightenment regarding the research and the way forward as to how you should do in Dravyaguna and what researches can be done. 1 or 2 points, not in form of explanation, but bullet points. The Ayurvedic concepts are present in our traditional Sanskrit texts, starting from Buddha Charita, or the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Buddha Charita, up to the 8th century, that of Banabhatta. Several references are there. It is time that you can guide through your candidates while doing for their MSMD to take up this project of bringing down the historical dimension of these Ayurvedic references present in these traditional Sanskrit texts. The second, the Ayurvedic concepts which are present in the 4 Vedas. Here and there I see it is done in an interspersed manner, not in a cogent, systematic manner. It has not happened yet, except the book of J. Filiosa, where he only documents the roots of Ayurveda, and Dominic Uyastik's book about the fundamentals of Ayurveda. Then, most important thing, as I told you, the Egyptian medicine, the Greek medicine, the Greco-Arabic medicine, the Chinese medicine, all have been influenced by Ayurveda. The oldest is Chinese medicine, and the second oldest is the Greek medicine. And still, they all have been influenced by Ayurveda, because through the Silk Route, all these doctors and others went to the other countries, including Babylonia and other civilizations, and deciphered the knowledge as early as 2000 BCE. In fact, I read there was a colony in Babylonia, India colony, where 500 families from India were living there, and Pythagoras visited that place and learnt about the Katyayana Sutra and went back and developed the Pythagoras theorem. Credit goes to him, because we as Indians never recorded it anywhere. So that way you can also make a comparative study of Egyptian, Greek, Greco-Arabic, Chinese medicine, and highlight the greatness of Ayurveda, which is our embedded system present in the Vedas, although to an extent here and there. Joseph Needham, in his book on civilization, The Story of Civilization, has recorded, but not completely. So I am sure, being trained by wonderful physician, internationally renowned Ayurvedic physician like Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna and others, I am sure each of you will take up some researches like this. For some time I did it on herpetology, as present in our text, and published it. Some on zoological dimensions of Indian texts, ancient Indian text, that is published, but that was my limit. I could not do further. I am sure each of you can do it. So I am certain, with the kind guidance of the wonderful guidance and effective dynamic guidance of Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna and others who gave you the lectures here, I am sure you will come with startling discoveries in the years to come. Last but not the least, the Journal of the European Ayurvedic Society started publishing in 1983, for which the Rahul Peter Das is the editor, and Dr. Roy Eminik is the editor. and now since 2000, he was my good friend. Now he's from Professor of Archaeology from University of Martin Luther King University. And since 2002, it has been changed, the title is changed as Traditional Medicine. You can contribute articles which goes worldwide, which is a high impact journal. I am sure some of you are going to co-author and publish in it, through which we get international reputation and India will rise its head again. Last but not the least, I remember the statement of Will Durant when the world famous historian, he wrote the volumes on the history of world civilizations, in which he made a comment, India would rise at the turn of the century and would lead the world, not politically, economically, but spiritually. So the time has come with our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji popularizing yoga at the global level. Each of you have contributed significantly. S-VYASA under the guidance of Dr. H.R. Nagendra ji and Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna have played a significant role. I am sure each of you are going to play a role. So with that, I stop at this. Thank you very much. I thank Dr. Sangamitra Patnaik and our Chancellor for giving me an opportunity to babble about some aspects of Ayurveda, and thanks to each of you who have come here, stayed for a week, and whatever the inadequacies are there, you left it over and you are taking green memories. You are welcome to our university anytime, and good luck to each one of you. Namaskar, Dhanyavad.